Welcome back to another episode of What's New Wednesday. It is September the 19th, and we'll be covering things that have happened in the world of crypto and blockchain gaming between September 11th and the 19th. I'm actually in the middle of doing a birthday marathon stream, so this episode is coming out on Thursday because I have been streaming for 24 hours by now already, and we've got another 22 left to go, so thought we might as well try and get this episode out there and ready to go. So we're gonna jump into it. We've got lots to talk about this week as well. So some really big things. The US Federal Reserve has finally cut interest rates, which has caused crypto and the whole world of Web3 to go a lot more bullish this past couple of days. It's great to see. We got TCG game Parallel. They've released a teaser video for their very own third-person shooter. Looks beautiful, so we have to take a look at that. Openloot game, the Desolation, is releasing their second part of their economy on September the 23rd, so that's coming up soon. Desolation is a really cool looking game. Check it out. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Big Time. The Big Time Showdown finale is finished. Prizes have been distributed, and we have lots to talk about there, about the results. So those are the topics this week. Let's start off like we always do by talking about some crypto stuff. Like I was saying, we got that Fed interest rate cut, which is huge. So we'll jump right into it and take a look at some charts. Here is Bitcoin on the 4-hour. Bitcoin 4-hour chart is looking very bullish right now, as the price is just over top of 62k now, touched 63k. Question is, will it be able to fully flip the 62k resistance into support, and why has crypto popped off in the past few days? So if you've been following along with my episodes, you might remember that about a month ago we talked about how Jerome Powell was saying positive things about the effects of their increased interest rates and was hinting towards possible interest rate cuts in the future. We also talked about how the next meeting for the Federal Reserve was going to be on September the 18th, and we hoped that there would be some really good news there that would cause the market to go bullish. Our wish came true. The Fed cut interest rates by 50 basis points, and you can see the price of Bitcoin, which was on the rise as people anticipated the September 18th announcement, continued bullish on the 18th and going into the 19th with this positive news. We all want to see Bitcoin head back up to 70k, but before it can do that, it needs to print several 4-hour candles above 62k, in my opinion. So we got a couple articles that you guys can check out here. News BTC talked about the rate hike, interest rate cut by 50 percentage points, which seems to be the first time in 4 years that this is happening. So marking a pivotal shift since the onset of COVID-19. The adjustment lowers the target range to 4.75 to 5%, down from 5.25 to 5.5%, which has been in place since last July. The highest interest rates since 2001. So finally coming down from that, US government's finally cutting down from that, and that usually is a signal that it's time to play around with some risk on assets, and that's what crypto and Web3 is all about. So we should see a really huge resurgence in price and movement for the upcoming few months here. Got another article here by ICO Gem Hunters, sort of talking about the same thing. Flash the price. We've got the Bitcoin going up to 62.5k. They've talked about different people giving their predictions about where they want to see Bitcoin go. I think that we could start seeing Bitcoin moving up to all-time highs and breaking into a new all-time high by November if the good news keeps coming. Last week we talked about how the federal election could impact things. So if the federal election happens and these interest rate cuts continue, I think we'll have some really good news for crypto and blockchain on a whole for a while. So that's blockchain, that's crypto. Looks like we're looking really bullish, honestly, and we'll see. We got to turn the 62k resistance into support, and then, I mean, in a perfect world, we see something like this, right? Up to 65k, something like that, in a perfect world. But who knows? We'll have to see. All right, popular blockchain trading game Parallel has mentioned having a shooter in the works that utilizes the same digital assets, 3D models, etc., as their TCG game. But today they have put out an amazing looking teaser video. Let's watch it. We gotta watch it.
Not long ago, our art team got together to imagine what a shooter game set in the parallel universe could look like. What began as a side project quickly grew beyond our expectations, fueled by our community's incredible response to the idea. Driven by your passion and feedback, we embarked on a journey to create expansive new environments. leveraging the curated work from our avatars collection, our extensive 3D assets library, and the latest in Web3 technology, all brought together through the power of Unreal Engine. Today, we are excited to share a first glimpse into Project Tauceti.
Pretty sweet. That looks beautiful, and it looks like they're still using the base blockchain for the assets and everything there. So I'm really excited about that. Definitely a pretty looking game, and I'm excited to see where this little side project, as they called it, is ending up going. It's also interesting to put out that they say that this game is being made in partnership with a third-party studio. While we continue to develop on Tauceti, Parallel's focus remains on delivering meaningful updates to the TCG in their alpha release of Colony. So I think this is a way that they're just trying to put their community's mind at ease, so that they're not like spreading themselves too thin. They're focusing on their main game. They've got a budget set aside for this side project of a third-party studio. We'll see where it goes. If they're able to ship something that is like a playable, good product, then we'll see it. But the fact that they're using a third-party studio also kind of means that they're managing their risk in development. So if things start going sideways, they can just pull the plug and take the L without risking their own studio and their own projects. Take that for what it is. They also talked about the release of Colony. I don't remember what Colony is. I think I've heard about it before, but I can't really remember. So if you guys are watching this in the future, let me know in the comments if you have any more information about Parallel. I've played Parallel a few times. I like it. Fun game. I'm not too big into the trading card games myself. I think it's an awesome application of blockchain, but I don't know. I find myself getting bored, especially streaming it. I don't know. Just me. That's with every trading card game. I've tried so hard to stream trading card games in the past, and not really my type of content that I gravitate towards. But this third-person shooter, on the other hand, now that's something that I would get behind. So I'm really excited about Project Tauceti. We'll see how that goes. Moving on, Openloot. Openloot has several games that are a part of their ecosystem. One of those games is the Desolation. It's been playable for people who own certain items for a while now. I haven't given it a go yet, but it's an epic-looking bird's eye view looter shooter. Well, the second part of their economy is going live on September 23rd. Kind of makes me wonder what parts of their economy are live already. I think that there are some like crafting things that you can use. I bought a mystery box with them, and you can see the things listed, right? It's got a workshop and currency and stuff like that. So I think that Desolation actually has a pretty decent amount of their economy out already. So if you're looking for a game to jump into that has integrated Web3 blockchain elements already, and it's playable, it's fun, then I would definitely recommend checking out Desolation. Let's take a look at their trailer. Let's do that. So it's kind of like bird's eye view. Three different classes. You can play on mobile too, which I find quite interesting. Guns, lots of guns. So So that's another really interesting looking game. I really got to put some time into it because it looks a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Parallel or the Desolation. They're not my main games. I've peripherally been paying attention to them and seeing their progress. Desolation looks like it's at a pretty good place to jump in right now. So if you guys have played the Desolation, be sure to let me know in the comments if I'm missing out on anything, any details, or if you have more to share, please do that. And with the second part of their economy coming out, guys, I mean, probably a pretty good time to jump in the game and give it a shot, see what it's all about. Maybe we can all get a piece of that pie together. So that's it for the Openloot side of things. Worth checking out. Let's talk about Big Time. Big Time Showdown finale is finished. Here's the top 5 winners: Eternity, Goda, Ladau, Mystics, and Mills. I don't think any of those people were people who were grinding, doing the clocky carnage. So here's the thing. We talked last week about how there were some clocky killers that seemed like a bit suspect, nefarious. Like, how do they get so many points? It seems a bit Well, I do think that there are definitely players who might not be playing by the book. I was able to connect with someone who placed in the top 5 of the clocky carnage, and I got their perspective. They placed around 30th in the finale and said that they weren't able to compete with people who were crafting and grinding specifically. But how did they do so well, right? I was able to kind of ask, and here's some of the things that they said. They have really good pocket watches, like a chronomancer with over 1,000 intelligence. They have really good gear. They have like a really solid character who's able to do like a lot of damage. And they also were playing with a solid group of friends who just like dedicated the week to just grinding, right? So they were playing 12 plus hours a day, and their characters were just so obscenely strong. So they ran mega clocky dungeons, they ran cyber pirates, and they made sure to get the final hit on all the mega clockies. So that was something that they said was points were counted when you landed the final blow on the mega clocky, not even when you executed it, but you had to actually kill the monster. And when they did so much damage, they were just getting so many clocky kills, right? And that's how they managed to be in the top 5 in the clocky carnage and do so well. I myself last week was grinding like crazy. I was killing clockies for at least 50 hours this past week, and I was crafting. I crafted 9 sets of common armor. I crafted 3 sets of uncommon armor. I crafted 3 legendary weapons, but I ended up running out of big time tokens, and I wasn't able to complete all the crafts that I wanted to. I had enough armor pieces to do a full set of rares that I wasn't able to do, and same thing, I had enough rares to be able to craft several epic armor pieces, and that wasn't possible. So it is what it is. Let's take a look at the result. But yeah, I ended up placing around 80th place, and I gotta say, like, the last couple of days I basically had given up because I was looking at how many points I would need to be in the top 20, and it just didn't seem feasible. I didn't have enough big time to make it happen. Like, maybe if I had been able to craft all of the things that I wanted to craft, maybe it might have been possible. Like, if I had been able to get that full set of rares and then those epics crafted, that might have given me a few 100,000 points more. But like, it's hard to say how much points I got from grinding clockies. The final day, the results didn't fully tabulate until like a day later. It said I had like 100,000 points when the showdown had officially ended, but then the next day I had somehow magically have gained an extra 100,000 points. So I think those were the clocky kills that just hadn't quite tabulated yet. It seemed like my crafting points were tabulating, but not my clocky kills. So here I am, 85th, and no complaints. 28,000 Openloot reward points. Still got 1,100 big time tokens. I did leave that whole tournament with a good chunk of big time tokens and a good chunk of Openloot reward points. So I'm not complaining. I think it overall worked out all right. But yeah, you don't really see the people who are just straight grinding in the top 20. There's like one, this guy. I think this guy was just a straight clocky grinder, and that's about it. So how did it work out? I think a lot of people were a little bit frustrated about the showdown. They felt like, especially when it came down to the clocky killing, things were getting a bit unfair and there was people cheating, but it's hard to say really if someone was or not. But yeah, I mean, like, this guy was in the top 5. I don't think anyone else was. So yeah, it's over though, and that's good. All right, so that's what's new Wednesday for this week, guys. This is the final topic. Big time showdown's finished. If you were able to qualify at all for any of the showdown rewards in the past 6 weeks, congratulations. Hopefully it was worth it for you and you enjoyed competing in the different ways that it's possible to compete. We're all looking forward to leaderboard 5 coming up in the future. Now, here's something that I just want to say before we end this episode. There was a time during this showdown where on the notice board in your metaverse, it said that the current season of crafting items, pre-season items, will no longer be craftable once leaderboard 5 starts. So if you are planning on crafting any items, Stygian or otherwise, your different armor sets, all that sort of stuff, now is the time to do it. You won't be able to keep crafting these items once leaderboard 5 starts. There'll be a new season of items to craft. So if you haven't heard of that yet, now is your final warning. Make sure you guys get those crafts in. If you're trying to craft that mythic piece of armor, then you got to do it soon. And that's all I gotta say. So hopefully we get some more information about that, because that's the only place that I saw that notice. It was just on the notice board in your metaverse for like a week or two, and it's never been mentioned on the Discord announcements. It's never been mentioned really anywhere else. So hopefully we get some more information about that before they move ahead and to the next season of craftables, but who knows, they might just sort of sneak it in there. But that's it for What's New Wednesday this week, guys. If you guys are watching this in the future, make sure you throw down a like, make sure you subscribe, follow, leave a comment, and don't forget to tell somebody about it. And I will see you all next week. Peace.